What's up, YouTube? This is Team Underdog Kenny here with my worm deck. I've been playing this past weekend. I went X1 with it at GameSwap, so I'll just get right into the deck. 3 worm Zex and 3 worm Yagen. Basically how this works is you normal summon Zex, dump Yagen in the graveyard, and if Yagen's in your graveyard and Zex is the only monster you control, you can summon it face down, and when it's flip face up, returns a monster to the hand. So really annoying combo. This is kind of the heart of the deck. This is Zex and Yagen.
You playing first? Yep.
3 worm Carteros. His effect is when he's flipped, you get to add a reptile type worm monster level 4 or lower from your deck to your hand. Good for search power. 1 worm Tentacles. You banish a worm in your graveyard and he can attack twice per turn. Pretty broken. 3,400 damage by himself is pretty decent. 1 worm King and 1 worm Queen. When I get into the traps, you'll see why these guys are important, but basically this one lets you tribute a worm to summon one from the same level out of your deck, and this one lets you tribute a worm to pop a card. And you can tribute summon them with 1 tribute if the monster you're using is a worm. And then next up, 2 Kageto Kagis. If you normal summon a monster, you can special summon it from your hand. It really helps out with the speed of the deck, making exceeds and stuff. Just a good card. Also, dark target for BLS. This card won me a lot of duels. Basically, you have to banish all the worms out of your field and graveyard to summon it. Gains 600 attack for each one, and then during each of your end phases, you get to blow up any card on the field. So this is just really great field control card. I love it. And 1 BLS, because the extra deck, the one that you're going to make the most, is a dark, so you're usually going to have targets. 1 Honest, because they're all light. And 1 Berserk Gorilla, which I added in as a joke. This was originally an effect Veiler, and I decided to switch it to a Berserk Gorilla, because why not? And next we got the spells. Kind of standard. Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn. 2 Space Typhoon. 2 Pot of Duality, extra consistency. 1 Soul Taker just in there as a tech, because sometimes if you clear the field you can go in for a big push. 1 Shard of Greed. I've been testing this card since the deck's kind of slow and waiting 2 turns for a draw. I don't really like it as much as I thought I would, because it's either just going to get Space Typhooned or sit there and it's kind of dumb. So now on to the traps. Judgment and Warning.
What are you doing, baby girl?
Fiendish Chain. Bottomless Trap Hole. 2 offerings to the Snake Deity. Basically this is Icarus attack for reptiles, but it's actually better because if it gets negated, you're sending your monster to the graveyard isn't actually a cost. It just says target a reptile and 2 cards your opponent controls. Destroy all 3. So if they negate it, you could keep your monster, which is pretty good. This is the card that really makes the deck good. Basically, you flip all face down monsters face up, and then in the end phase of the turn that you play it, you flip all of the worms back face down, draw 1 card for each, and then summon a level 7 or higher reptile from your deck. Really, really broken. You can OTK with that, thanks to Tentacles and Worm Queen. 1 Memory of an Adversary. This is a card I've just kind of been testing out. I actually really like it because of the fact that the deck is kind of slower. Having an extra monster that you steal from your opponent can make all the difference. But if they compulse the monster that you summon with it, it's really dumb. 1 Compulse, and then lastly, best card in the deck, Return from the Different Dimension. Because you play BLS, you play all the removal, you can just OTK with it. It's a really stupid card. Onto the extra deck. 1 Ally of Justice Catastor, because I've got Veilers in the side deck and a lot of level 4 monsters. 3 of this guy. His effect says you can detach a material to add a reptile from your deck to your hand. Really simple, but really broken. I'm going to say that probably about 50% of the time I would use this to search Worms X, and the other 50 I'd use it to search Evil Dragon and Anta. I searched for a card other than those 2 like once, and it was just, I think I searched for Kageto Kagi. Gaga Cowboy, because it's good. Photon, Utopia, Gemini Pearl, Maestro, Shockmaster, which I actually made a few times, Abyss Dweller, and then this, because you got some level 8s I didn't really make it at all, but occasionally you will. And that's pretty much the deck. Do you want me to do the side deck?
Sure.
Alright, I gotta go grab it. And I left the side deck at home, but basically the side deck was just like 2 Maxis and 2 Veilers, 3 Imperial Iron Walls because that card's really good against E-Dragons and Spellbooks, Soul Drains, D-Fissures, just that kind of stuff. Just anti-meta stuff mostly because that's kind of how Worms plays. And I really like the deck. I went X1 with it at Game Swap, and then took it here, and I went 1 and 2, which kind of sucked. But I still think it's a pretty good deck.
Yeah, you're good.
And I enjoyed playing it. So, plus you get to tell people that they got Worms.
18 or something like that, like 2000.
So that's pretty much it.